So, a month ago, you fell into sin. You asked God for forgiveness and did all these things, but after a week, you fell into that same sin again. You felt pretty bad and repented, but a few days later, you just fell into that same sin again. Shame's starting to build up. You feel horrible having to pray the same prayer all over again, yet a day after, you mess up and you fall into sin. Days become weeks, and weeks pass, and now you're here, and you're still struggling with the same sin. These cycles just failing over and over again, wondering if there's any point in even praying the same prayers if you're just going to fall back into sin. Now look, I'm not angry with you. Heck, I'm not even near judging or looking down on you, because you and I, we're the same. It's not easy, and I understand the inner struggles that we face beneath the surface, the crippling shame, the hopelessness, the loneliness. We both know this topic is complicated, and there can be a number of factors as to why you keep backsliding, and we could talk about this for hours. But for this single video, I just want to hone in on one single thing that you can do, and we're going to keep it simple. Will it change and solve all your problems? Probably not, to be honest, but I think it will give you better footing. Consider this: if you do the same thing, you will get the same results. Every system is perfectly designed to get the result that it does. And so if you're backsliding into the same sin over and over and over again, reflect for a minute. Have you changed anything about the way you are living? Because if there's no change, then of course you're going to fall into temptation the same way each time. If you're doing the exact same things, then you're going to get the exact same results. Sometimes when we get stuck in these cycles of sin, we're so focused on how we're feeling, the shame, the frustration, the discouragement, the hopelessness, that we don't take time to reflect and actually change things in our life. And what I mean by changing things, this includes 3 silos of influence, we can call it: our environment, our habits, and our thinking. Firstly, if you're stuck in the same sin, change your environment, all right? Sometimes cleaning up your room, taking a shower, changing your clothes, throwing out the garbage and decluttering the space, putting on a fragrance even, can change and purify your mind space. This is super underrated advice, and I literally this is so helpful. Just do it, clean up. But depending on the sin, you may also want to relocate where you are spending your time. If you're dealing with a very secretive sin, like an addiction, spend some time with other people. Don't be isolated if you can. If you're dealing with a socially emotional sin, such as anger or lying, then try to take time to be in environments that are calming and restful and drive mindfulness when you can. Number 2 is habits. What are the things that we are choosing to do each day? When you wake up, what do? Do you pick up your phone and check Snapchat? What do you do in your free time? Do you spend time watching YouTube videos like right now? If we change our habits to become more beneficial for our holistic health, so that's physically, mentally, and spiritually, then that gives us a better body and mind to face temptations. Would you rather get tempted after spending 6 hours on your phone, eating chips and pop on your couch all day? Or get tempted after you finished a great workout, you've been reading books and praying all day outside? That's your choice. The third thing is thinking, and it is so important. The way you think about yourself and God is critical when it comes to temptation and sin. How do you view yourself when you sin? Do you see yourself as a failure? As hopeless? How do you view God when you sin? How do you think He sees you? Do you see God as angry and critical towards you? Do you think He's given up on you, that you're a lost cause at this point? These are important things to think about, because if our thoughts about God are untrue, then we're in a huge conundrum. If we don't know the real Jesus, we're kind of screwed. I did a whole sermon on this at a men's retreat, so I won't go into detail here, but you can watch it later. But what I'm trying to get at in this video is to simply change the way you live. If you aren't making any change, then you can't expect to not be stuck in those same sins. This is just a simple reminder. And it's important to note that the more extreme those cycles of sin, the more extreme the measures that you're going to have to take in making changes in your lifestyle. Sure, you backslid, you sinned, you failed, but what are you going to do next? If you weren't consistently in the Word, if you weren't spending time in prayer, if you weren't journaling your thoughts, then what do you expect? You know what to do. I want you to decide right now one thing that you're going to change, one thing that you're going to start doing today. Keep it simple, don't overcomplicate it. Look, we mess up. We're fighting the flesh, the devil, the world. It's tough. But even when Peter stumbled and fumbled, Jesus gave him another chance. You messed up. I did too. But we both followed Jesus, and He's a gracious and gentle King, a shepherd, a friend of sinners. So I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to give up, but I would love if you came with me. Let's follow Jesus together. No matter how many times we fall, we rise each time a better man. The most important step a man can take, it's not the first one, it's the next one. Always the next step. And as for me, that next step is going to be alongside Jesus. So what's your next step? That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed and learned a thing or two. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. But just remember, if anyone then knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is sin for them. So please, kill the flesh.
Phone up, girl, I need to go silent. Hold on, need to see outside. Been so long since I let them slide. Emotions showing up uninvited. Phone up, girl, I need